Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while.
Well, good morning, all y'all. Wait, it's not morning, it's evening. Sorry. I'm a little out of practice. Oh, anyway, good evening. How are you this glorious March evening? It's March the 23rd, 2026, and this is episode 144 of our broadcast, and it's the first of 2026. If you're looking to embrace self-sufficiency, learn some practical skills like food preservation and storage, gardening, even generating income by hosting your home, like through short-term rental, like Airbnb or something. Well, you found your community. I am Robin. If you haven't met me before, I know there's always new people stopping by. And today we're going to look at the coming growing seasons: chickens and ducks and dogs and cats, freezes and snow and all that stuff. And we'll discuss a lot of, well, maybe not a lot. We'll talk about some of the things that we're growing this year, that we're starting or hoping to grow, and see how that goes. So I'm toying with a new option, I guess is the best way to put it, with StreamYard, which is what I use to live stream or to record these and upload them to both video and audio, because I started this as a podcast, and then I started uploading it to YouTube and Rumble, and I share those links out. And so now they offer the option to run a teleprompter like thing. And so I was trying it just now. I've not used it because I haven't recorded anything this year, and there's been a lot of changes with StreamYard. Some of them good, some of them maybe not so good. We'll see. This one, it's going to be distracting. I'm not used to using teleprompter per se. I have used a script. I have used notes and read from them from time to time, and stuff like that, but I've never really used a teleprompter. And I kind of don't like teleprompters because you can usually tell when somebody's looking down and reading, looking at them. But we'll see how this goes. So in this episode, we're discussing the coming garden season. Can you tell? Tell me, comment down below. You can tell, can't you? Not just by the way I'm speaking, but I'm having to look down, right? You can tell. I know you can. It does let me scroll instead of just scrolling it for me, but I don't know which is going to be worse. I don't know. But we're going to talk about, try to get back on track, because I know you don't want to listen to me jump around like this. We're going to try to get back on track. We're going to discuss some of the upcoming garden plants that we're going to try to grow this year, some of the seeds that I've already started, some camping opportunities for trail riders in Kanawha Valley and how that affects us here at Holstein House, dogs, cats, and chickens and ducks and things like that. So we'll get started. I have already started some seeds. It is March the 23rd as I record this. And I actually started some peas, two different types of peas, a couple weeks ago, actually a little more than a couple weeks ago. I started some I've already put my plant in my, where did I put those? I must have put them up. Some Wando peas and some patio seed peas. Um, they are designed for container gardening. They're adapted, I guess is the best way you could look at through genetic. I mean, you say genetic modification. I mean, today's wheat is nowhere near what the wheat of our grandparents was, and it's nowhere near the wheat of their grandparents and then their grandparents. I mean, we've been modifying the genes of plants and animals since we arrived on this earth. When a lot of times when people talk about genetic modification of seeds, they're talking about really going into like the lab and cutting and splicing different parts of the gene species to make different things happen and make it's not like you're cross-pollinating things to get something better. You're actually going in and you're just making hybrids and things that just aren't good for you digestively, and it's a whole science instead of just being something that you do. The type of genetic modifications that I'm talking about are the types that are designed to help crops function in smaller containers. They thrive better. They may not grow as tall. They may bush, but they're not so genetically modified as to be hazardous to us in any kind of way, shape, or fashion. So I started some peas. I don't have any peas in the house to share with you, to show you, because they're outside. I started I started them in a little container. I don't even have one of those here handy to show you. A little clamshell from a fast food store. They were if you've ever gotten an appetizer or something from a restaurant and it had the and it's the smaller one. Now what we got wings from Pizza Hut in ours, and it was the little black ones, probably about that's not going to help you. Probably about, I don't know, 4 inches by 4 inches with a clear top on it. The base is black and the top is clear. So I put a paper towel down on the bottom and I wet that paper towel and I put the pea seeds on those and I let them set there until they sprouted. It took 3 or 4 days for them to sprout. Then I put them in the soil, covered them over a little bit to keep the birds off of them, and they've come up there. They're looking really nice. But if I can make StreamYard behave the way I want to make it behave, I'll show you those here in a minute. I might not be able to. There used to be a screen share option. Is that it? If I click this, and what happens? Oh yes, share screen. Let me see if I can find my photos. I don't see my photos. That's not a Chrome tab I'm looking for. It's a window. Oh, I know why. I can't find it. I'm off to a roaring good start today. Let me see. Where are my peas? I don't have the peas. Where are the peas? Ah, here they are. Let me do this. So the first picture I'm going to show you when I get to show you these. This is just a couple of days. I mean, we're talking, really minor barely, you see this right here, barely sprouting. So this was just a couple days after, and you can see this is the paper towel that that I have them on, and then I don't know if this will. Yeah, this is a couple days later. You see they're sprouted a little more, and then I don't think you're going to see the actual plant. I mean, I planted them here. This is the container that I planted them. I think that might be a tiny little pea. This is after I planted them, obviously covered them over, and they've grown a little more. I didn't get a picture today. Today would have been the best day to get the picture because some eBay stuff that I'm trying to put out. That they would be able to show you how they have grown. They're actually about an inch or so tall. They're ready for me to put trellis in. So I should have actually done the trellis already. So what you see, okay, so let me, since I'm bouncing all around here, these are some pepper plants that I have sewn in a cardboard egg carton or a paper egg carton, depending on how you phrase it, what you call them yourself. They're, to me, they're cardboard, but this is a few days ago. This is one of the pepper plants that's just barely sprouted, and so what I'll do is that gets a little bigger and needs to be moved. I've already made some initial cuts here so that it won't take me much to cut them the rest of the way through. It won't disturb the roots or anything, and then I'll just plant this. I'll put this whole cardboard piece in the soil into a pot. And I did that because I didn't have enough stuff to get started, and I needed to get started. These are my potatoes, white potato starts. Seed potatoes are in. This is a poultry feed bag. I have had success in growing potatoes in seed bags before, or feed bags before. Some of you will have seen the video that I did last fall when I was harvesting sweet potatoes from a grow bag. This is made of the exact same materials. One of the good things about this is that there's an abundance of them. I have all kinds of them. I can give some to my neighbors. Pet food. Some pet foods come in these same type of woven plastic bags. Now, not the slick plastic that moisture won't penetrate. This will shed moisture. It will drain slowly, but it will drain, so you still have to water them a little more frequently than if they were in the ground. But they're inexpensive. I can unroll them as this plant grows. I do have to put some more soil on it, but it will, it's going to grow, and then it will, there's actually two or three in here. I can't remember now. And as those vines grow, and I will continue to cover them with soil so that they'll grow, and it'll do really good. This is another image of the second one. This is a second bag with white potatoes in it, and that's a little taller shoot. I should have covered it a little more, but I was out of soil by then. And so this is the window to my right as we sit now. And what I've got going here are more pepper plants. There's some celeriac in here, which is a type of plant that's very close to being just like celery, only it's a little easier to grow. What all else do I have in that? I have several different peppers. I have celeriac. I have Swiss chard started. I have rainbow pepper. I'm trying to read. I know you can't. I don't think you can see kaleidoscope peppers, and I can't read them from where I'm sitting either. And these are also egg cartons. The base of egg cartons. And over here, I have peppers started. Now, this is a few days ago. I haven't gotten these filled yet a few days ago. Now, it's another shot of the same thing. These are the smaller ones in the previous picture. I've got some echinacea planted. I've got some nasturtiums planted. I've got some zinnia planted. So these are my flowers mostly. I've got winter savory. Now, I haven't grown winter savory before. It is an herb. It is an herb that is used a lot with Jerusalem artichoke. And I believe it didn't get it harvested last year, but I believe I have Jerusalem artichokes. They're still on my property, but they're outside my fence because the way I had to put the fence up, the slope in the backyard to get a straight line across, we had to not enclose part of the backyard. But I'm pretty sure I have some Jerusalem artichoke there. And if you cook them with winter savory, it's supposed to help reduce some of that gassiness that you get with them. And some calendula. I have some calendula planted. Oh, that's lunch. That was our anniversary lunch there. You're not interested in that. So these are my Jersey Devils. Actually, this particular pot I ended up sending to Al. Al is a friend of my husband, and he's in Indiana out near Birdseye. And he has sent me plants for the past 3 years, I think. And Jersey Devils was one of the tomato plants that he sent me. And a couple summers ago was the first time I grew it, and it just grew enormous. I mean, just the size of my palms. It was wonderful. But we'll talk more about those later. And you can go back on some of my YouTubes and some of my Rumble videos and see those plants in those videos. You have to, search through for the summer, and find them, but you'll find them there. So obviously these are very, very baby plants. I mean, these are these little tiny, we always have the clock interfere. That's like, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have it. This is another Jersey Devil. Now, there should be another seed in this pot, but look here, you've only got one germinated this time. So sometimes you do everything right, the seed doesn't germinate. This is another tomato. This one is from seeds sent to me by Julie. Julie's a friend on the Telegram group. She's also out that way, out near Al. And this one, I think she called it Dad's German tomato plants. I mean, that's not the real name of it, but that's what she had written. I think that's what she had written on the seed packet she sent me. And you see just when you teeny tiny, it's just coming up. Oh, let's see. I know what that looks like it says, but I don't know what it says. Brad something? Oh, I don't know what that is. I think it's another tomato plant. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, that's church the other day. Now, this I want to show you. These are the same Jersey tomatoes. These are the same that I sent out to Al. And no, they're not. These aren't the Jersey Devils. These are the Brads something or other. But anyway, I did the same thing with the ones I sent to Al, and I did the same thing. I have used a soft drink cup. You can tell what company right there, and used it to mimic a hothouse or a terrarium or however you want, whatever phrase you want to call it. to keep the moisture and keep the heat in place of the plastic wrap now that they have gotten some height on them. And hopefully they won't fall over, but I'll be able to just kind of lift those up. This particular, so these black cups down here, plant cups, I've had for a few years, and I clean them and then reuse them. Some of them are cracked, some of them are warped, but in general, these, I think these nowadays, they call them small cups. They might call them medium cups. Some of these are medium cups from other companies. Fit, because you want the lip of the cup to fit. They will fit down in there. Some of these black cups are a little warped or bent and stuff, so they don't fit real snug, but it serves the purpose. So you see, it keeps moisture in there. It gives them some room to grow. And it's reusing stuff that I've already got, because I don't go out and buy a bunch of new stuff to do these things. I use what I've got. That's why you see me using the egg cartons. It's not perfect because they do dry out, and you have to have something under them to keep them from weeping out on your surfaces. Where did I leave off? Oh, I left off right here. This is another view of the same things. See, I've got 3 here, and since then I've added a couple more. Since this picture was taken, I've added a couple more. So they help to keep the moisture in, while these seedlings are growing. This is another shot of those peppers that I was showing you earlier. There's another one that has grown there. So this one was the first one you saw. There's another one that's popped up here. There's another one that's popped up here. I think that's it. That's all of the pictures we've got today. Hopefully you got to see those. All right, so let's remove that. That's me. So, it scrolled darn it. So as I was scrolling the pictures, I hope that worked. I wasn't able to see it while we were looking at them on the screen. But it scrolled my teleprompter. So let's see, where were we? Let me get back to this. I've started several peppers and tomatoes, celery, flowers, herbs, blah, blah, blah. Drink cups for hot houses. Need to get containers ready. Dogs, cats, chickens, and ducks. Well, here, let's talk about the chickens and ducks first. So all of our chicken hens are laying, not all every day. So some of you guys know that I have 3 hens, my 3 oldest hens. One is an Easter egger. She has never laid consistently. I don't know if it's her nature or if it is her breed or what, maybe she had an issue. I don't know. Then I have 2 Isa Browns, and those 3 hens are all the same age. They are 5. I think they're 5. I have to go back and count it up. So the Isa Browns are laying about twice a week. The Easter egger is not laying. She last year, I think she laid 7 or 8 times, and that was all in the spring, and then she didn't lay anymore. There are folks who advocate you should cull your hens when they reach that age, because otherwise you just have an expensive pet. I get it. I really do. But I think all in all, it all averages out. And I think the other girls are able to carry the weight. So, based on the amount of feed that I use. And obviously in the winter, it's more because you can't, free range them. But in the warmer weather, when they can free range more, the feed cost is not as much. So no more hens than I have. It's no big deal. I don't want to take them out anyway. I mean, it's not their fault that they don't lay. They're not meat hens anyhow. Betty's in here because she wants to go to bed. And I'm just getting started, Betty. So I'm not going to cull them. I may, I bounce that around all the time. I have culled hens. I don't like to cull hens. It's just not in my nature. Some people don't care one way or another. I don't like to do it. The duck hens, now, if you haven't been with me for a while or at all, I also have 7 ducks. Of those 7 ducks, 1 is a drake, so obviously he doesn't lay. I have 1 pekin who is 7 years old. She's the only living bird from my original flock that I got seven years ago. So she lays hit and miss maybe twice a month. She's also a little queenie. I'm not taking her out either. She's here until she just wakes up dead. So, excuse me. So I'm not going to call her. She's just cute. Ducks are cute. I like my ducks. And she's the only pekin I have now. So I have 5 other ducks. I have no clue what breeds they are. They may just be barnyard mixes. I don't know. 3 of them were given to me by a high school girlfriend of mine. Not last fall, but the fall before. So they're what? 2 years old, I think. And I also added 2 ducks last fall from a neighbor who was moving. Long story, not getting into it again. It's in some of my videos from last fall. They are, I don't know if they're both laying or not. I think they are. One of them more regular than the other. One of them actually laid a black egg. Let me see if, did I close out all of my pictures? I did. Let me see if I can get back to them. And let me see if I can show you this duck egg. I'm sure I've got a picture of it on here. It's just a matter of finding it and sharing it with you. So I've never had a duck lay a black egg before. Oh, go away. I hate pop-ups. So I go out there and, oh yeah, here it is. And I have this. Let me see if I can get the screen to share. And I don't like this. This is what I don't like. It scrolled my teleprompter again. So let me share this. See this? See this egg, this dark egg here? It's black. Or it's gray there. I had one that was, the first one I noticed was black, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've missed an egg, and it's set in here and it's rotted. I never do this. I turn the litter every couple of days, so it's decomposing at a good rate, and it's not all stinky and everything. But I had myself convinced that I had missed an egg and it had rotted in there. So I tossed it out. Well, then the next day there's this one. I'm like, oh, okay, there's something going on here. What I didn't know when I took this picture is that gray is just in the bloom. It's a color that the duck is shedding, in her early, because of her breed, in her early laying for the season. It washed off. When I cleaned the eggs, it washed off. So it was in the bloom. And only one of the ducks have done that. So either one of the 2 newer ducks is older, maybe. And maybe the younger one, this was her first season laying. I don't know. It was, but I know it wasn't any of the other ducks because it's never happened before. And so we've gone through a couple seasons with them. So it has to be one of the two backyard neighbor ducks, is what I call them. So, but yeah, if I've never seen that, if you've seen it, I'd love to know. Did you have a particular duck? Because these ducks are really black colored too. So I don't know what their breed is. I looked up that maybe they're a Cayuga duck, but I don't know. I'd love to know if you have had those ducks before. Let's see. The cats. So bad news there. Since the last time we were together, we lost Cindy Blue Who. And Cindy Blue Who was one of our, I can't say original cats, but she was our oldest cat for a long time. And she was about 15. She started doing things that 15-year-old cats do. She wasn't eating that much. She was up and down all night, whining, or not whining, but meowing, you know how they do. And slowly we noticed, she's losing weight. But up even until the last couple days, she was hopping up and down on the arm of the chair, wanting petted, sitting with me and different things. And then but she was bone skinny. I mean, awfully bone skinny. And then we come in and she was on her way out. So we made her a little soft spot because of her little bones. We didn't want them on the hard floor. And so we made her a little soft spot and let her pass quietly and in relative peace. And that was, was it January? I want to say January. So she's gone. So we're down to our last cat, which is Abby. Abby Lincoln, because she came from Lincoln County. My mother-in-law or my brother-in-law sent her up to us, wanting us to send her to the local animal shelter, because he said they wouldn't take his animal shelter down there wouldn't take him. And I told my husband, I said, this cat won't leave here. She's here to stay. I'm not sending her to the shelter. So we got her fixed when the time came, and she's been a delight. And she's got a very long tail for a cat. I've never seen a cat with a tail that long, but she's an orange and white cat, and she's still doing all the cat things. She goes inside and out and always has. She's always been the one that she'd like to be outside. When it's good weather, you might see her just for meals. She'll come in and eat, take a nap, and then go back out and stay out all night and stuff. But in the cold weather, she stays in. But she's been spayed, so she stays close to home. She doesn't fight and carry on. She doesn't go very far from our yard. So Avy's still with us now. The dogs, the chickens and ducks and cats, and now, unfortunately, our boxer Betty, the one I was just talking to, Betty White, she has mast cell carcinoma. She had a large place on her chest last summer, and it wouldn't heal, and she scratched it open. And so we took her to our local vet. He said it needs to come off. He doesn't do those surgeries anymore. And so we took her down there, and it was a whole thing. But he asked us, did we want it biopsied? And I said, yeah, go ahead, because if it's nothing, it's no big, then we know. But if it's something, then we know. And it came back positive for this mast cell carcinoma. And over the Christmas holidays, she developed a place on her muzzle right here, or on her jowl, or whatever it's called right there. And we took her back in, and he said, this is the same type of tumor. And he said, here's one and here's one. It turns out she had quite a few under her skin or under her hair that we couldn't see yet. They were very small. And we decided to start her on a chemotherapy pill. So after we started her on this chemotherapy pill, it doesn't look like she's gotten more, but the ones she had got bigger for a little while, and then they kind of have stopped getting bigger. But she has one under her chin that she scratches all the time, and she has this one on her lip um, that she rubs her face and will cause it to bleed from time to time. And they don't seem to be bothering her other than that. She'll have good days and bad days. A bad day really is she's just kind of moping, doesn't eat good, and good days are just normal days. So we're going to keep treating her for the foreseeable future. Um, let her live what's left of her best life. She's up there in age too. We adopted her a few years ago. She's probably 10 or 11 by now. I'd have to do the math and go back and look, but um, because they can only guess, how they are. She had signs of being a much older dog, according to our original vet. The vet that sees her now seems to think that he was mistaken because some of the things that make her look old are things that would happen if she was kept in a cage. So, but it doesn't matter how old she is. She is a gorgeous little girl, and unfortunately, she has these lumps on her now. So it's it's you have it's like that. Only a face a mother could love. Not everybody's gonna think well of, guests coming in are going to recoil and think, oh my gosh, this is awful, but it's really not. She's in good shape. She's not contagious. It kind of looks bad, but she's good. Bob White the dog, he's just, oh, excuse me, he's just a dog. He's a boy dog. He does stuff that boy dogs do. He's been fixed too. He's been neutered. But he's just a boy dog. He pees on stuff. He's peed on things in the house if he's locked up too long. But he has learned. He's become housebroken since we adopted him a few years ago as well. And for the most part, he does not use the bathroom in the house unless we're gone all day. And sometimes he'll pee on vertical things. But for the most part, they don't do that, and we get it cleaned up pretty well anyway. So there's that. What else is there? What can I share with you? Oh, so there's we for some of obviously, that I rent a room, our guest room, through Airbnb, and I also take direct bookings for guests in our guest room. We have this Appalachian Outlaw Trails, and there's a link to their website in the show notes at the bottom. They open up this Memorial Weekend 2026. It's a 4-wheeling trail riding kind of thing, and they're building campgrounds and stuff. And we're going to be, we are, but we just haven't really had a lot of guests. We haven't had guests that brought their 4-wheelers. We're 4-wheeler friendly. We have no issues with that. People can come and stay with their 4-wheelers to go and ride the trail when it gets open, and that's fine. You can come and stay and park your 4-wheeler anyway, your trailer with your 4-wheeler. But the closest one to us is the Appalachian Outlaw Trail, and it's not quite open yet. So when it comes open, we hope to have at least 3. It's going to start out being primitive, no utilities, spots for trail riders to pull in and camp. You're going to have to be self-contained for the, initially. We're clearing the property. We're getting things worked out. We're going to be adding water and sewer and electric. I think we're going to add electric. Maybe we're going to add electric. I kind of am on the fence about adding electric because it's going to be expensive expensive for us to offer, and to keep the rate down on, renting the space. I have to think that through, because we'll have to have a basic service, and we'll have to pay that basic service all the time. Electric's not that cheap. Okay, but anyway, so it's something that we're working on, and when we get this together and get it ready, we will initially start offering it through Airbnb, and it will be listed under a Holstein House camp, or camp spot 1, spot 2, spot 3, or something like that. But keep that in mind. If you are a trail riding enthusiast couple, now remember, here at Holstein House, our guest room, we don't rent to children. So you would need an adult couple, obviously. And you'd be able to bring your 4-wheeler, and the trail from our front door is 2.25 miles. Okay, so it's a 1/4 mile over to cross the interstate, and then it's 2 miles back up on the hill to the trail. So we're right there. We're not, we can't really compete with what they're offering as far as, they're going to have on-site campground, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be beautiful. But if that's not your game, or if that's going to be too expensive for you, or if you just rather not be up there on top of the hill with everybody, we're going to have a couple of ways to deal with it. And one is going to be staying here with us in our guest room and leaving from here at Holstein House. And the next is going to be one of 3 spots, and it's actually on the river, but we don't have all that cleared off and set up and developed yet. So, but it will be one of 3 spots, just a couple streets over, which only adds another couple of tenths of a mile to the drive. So it's not going to be a big deal. You'll be able to, back your campers in, set up, stay, and when we get everything settled, you'll be able to, hook up. What they call it, full hookups. Again, I'm on the fence about the electric. It's just going to depend on what our rate's going to be. So that'll be exciting. And we'll have it listed on Airbnb, and we will also have it on direct booking. So it will work. We're winding down, so I'm trying to see my scroll here. I should tell you about my cookbooks and stuff, and they're on Amazon.com under Robin Holstein. Robin A. Holstein. I think I had to put the A in there because there's a cartoonist or an artist of some sort, Robin Holstein, and I don't want you to get confused by that. Bird flu is back, baby. It's back. Today, the West Virginia Department of Agriculture announced that bird flu has been detected in Kanawha County, which is the county that I'm in. It's highly contagious. It's called highly pathogenic avian influenza. It was found in a backyard flock. They don't tell where the flock is. Kanawha County is a pretty good sized county, so it could be 40 miles from me. And according to the West Virginia Department of Agriculture, this is only the 6th detection of HPAI in domestic backyard birds in West Virginia since the outbreak of 2022. So there was a lot of debate. So this time last year, So this time last year and a little before. Excuse me, I'm sorry, it's past my bedtime. Of how best to manage this. Now, there are arguments both ways, but the growing trend in perspective in homesteaders and self-sufficiency lifestyle families is that you let it go in your flock, and the birds that survive it are stronger. It's survival of the fittest. Um, and when you see these massive outbreaks, they tend to be in the flocks that are commercial flocks. They are for commercial egg production or meat birds. That where they're they don't have the ability to free range. They don't have the same volume of fresh air, and there's just way too many birds crammed into way too little space. I tend to agree with that because I've not seen any argument otherwise. And what they end up doing is they cull the whole flock. So you have 300 or 400 chickens, one or two of them flop over with avian influenza, and then so they just kill them all instead of letting the strong ones live. But my opinion, Joel Salatin, one of the most respected and well-known regenerative agricultural farmers, has that train of thought that you let the ones that are going to die, and the other ones are going to be stronger for it. And I agree with him. I've met him, I've talked to him, I've read his books. I understand his thought on that, and I tend to agree with it. One of the things that the Department of Agriculture recommends, and this really is kind of just good practice anyway, is to be careful of who you let on your farm. One of the things that you can do is if I've been on my farm, tromping around in my boots, and I come to your farm with those same boots, I can transfer disease to your livestock that way. So know who your people are and where they've been. That's just a good practice. Restrict access, to your livestock. So disinfect equipment and footwear and tools. That's good practice as well, because you just don't want to be spreading. You don't want dirty. If you've been butchering, you don't want dirty equipment being left out and to spread contamination. So winding down here, I've done this a couple of times that I've said I wanted to get back on a regular routine so that I can have some lives and we can talk, one-on-one. And I haven't been able to make that happen. I sound a little better now than what I did even 3 or 4 days ago. So I wouldn't have been able to do it here in the last few weeks anyway, but keep an eye out, like, share, and subscribe this one so that you become aware of the next time I post a video. I'm always welcoming your questions and your comments. I've had a couple of, I guess it's the way that YouTube works. I get more questions on YouTube than I do Rumble. I recently had a question on a video I did a few years ago on buttermilk, on perpetual buttermilk. And I don't know, because you can't read tone. And the person said, well, when do you throw the buttermilk out? Buttermilk has an expiration date. When do you throw the buttermilk out? It's not going to stay good in your refrigerator forever. And, I had to stop and just settle myself, because even if this person was being intentionally snarky, somebody else reading that wouldn't necessarily have been snarky. And maybe they thought, wait a minute, yeah, what about that? So the idea behind that video and the perpetual buttermilk is that much like, I'm no baby, it won't be long, much like sourdough, where you have a sourdough starter, and you feed the starter. You take some of it out and you make your sourdough, and then you feed the starter, and you take some out and you make your sourdough, but you never totally empty your starter. You've always got some starter there. That's kind of the same idea with the perpetual buttermilk. So that person asked that, and that's what I was telling them. Look, it's a lot like sourdough. You, first off, you're not just putting it on the shelf to let it sit there. You're supposed to be using it. And so you use it, and then when you get down to it's kind of low, then you put more milk in. You put whole milk back in, and the cultures that are in your buttermilk jar feed off of that, and it creates new buttermilk, and you have more buttermilk, and so you never have to go to the store to buy it again. So you always have a supply of butter, but you're supposed to use it. So you don't just put it in a jar and set it back and forget about it and come back 10 years later and say, oh, okay, yeah, perpetual buttermilk is supposed to be perpetual. That's what she said. And if I suspect if the person would have actually watched the full video, maybe they didn't want to watch the video, because sometimes I go slower than people want. I have one video where someone says, oh, for Pete's sakes, get on with it, and I understand that. There's some videos that I watch that I'm the same way, but it's in that case, the comments, I try to answer all the comments, and I try not to be rude and nasty. If you're being rude and nasty, I might just say, oh, thank you for asking questions. I'm so glad you watched the video, or something very generic. But I always enjoy hearing from you and getting your questions. And I've got to work out, and I've said this before, and I could kick myself for not doing it. I've got to work out a better routine, a better schedule, because there for a while I was doing 2 videos a week. 2 podcasts, 2 broadcasts, I should say, because I was doing a podcast too, 2 a week. But it did get to be too much. And then I backed off, and then I ended up falling off. So I need to get back at it. I know there's always new people coming around, always new people tripping across the things. And, you can help. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to like and share, and I really appreciate it if you do that. I'm going to wind down now. I'm coming up on an hour, and Betty is standing here by me. She wants to go to bed, bless her little heart. And, she just, I can't move the camera down for you to see her. I would. She's not used to staying up this late either. Usually we're in bed by now, and she's wanting to go upstairs and go to bed. And I think I heard her going up the stairs a little bit ago and coming back down because I didn't come up soon enough. So that's going to be it for me. Again, I appreciate all your likes, shares, and subscribes. If you got this far, this video was for you, and I hope you will leave me a comment on your thoughts about the plants, what you're growing this season. Are you trying a new plant? New vegetables? What are you growing? I'd love to know what some of your secrets are and some of your favorite tactics are. Go to robinholstein.com and go to the contact page, and there you'll find a way to reach me on a bunch of different social media applications. And until the next time we come together, I will say good night, and I will see you again later. Bye-bye.
So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms, and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.